Hey everybody, welcome to another video review. This is one of the, I think the last videos maybe I'm going to be doing on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. I finally managed, with a lot of help from a good friend, someone I will thank later in the video, managed to get all of the special souvenir, I don't even know what to call these, like cups, souvenir, I guess cups from Olga's Cantina in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So a little bit of background for those of you who may not be aware of what this is, a little bit of catch up. So Disneyland opened Galaxy's Edge, which is sort of their Star Wars land. It recently opened in Walt Disney World in Hollywood Studios as well. And there's a lot of things to do there. I've talked about Galaxy's Edge in a couple YouTube videos on my channel. You can look those up. And so one of the attractions, if you want to call it that, or one of the places you can go to is something called Olga's Cantina, which is really cool. It's sort of based in theme or in spirit off of the Mos Eisley Cantina from Star Wars: A New Hope, Episode 4, and it's essentially a bar. And it's bar top seating as well as tables, and there's like a middle row of counters that you can also stand at and drink as well. It's not a restaurant. You can't order really food there, although there are some snacks as well. And so it became very, very popular because you can imagine that it's been the dream of a lot of people, including myself. When you grow up watching the Star Wars trilogy, one of the more memorable scenes from Star Wars is when, of course, Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi first, kind of enter the Mos Eisley Cantina. That kind of iconic song, playing in the background, and then you see all of these, the dregs of the galaxy, right, sitting there drinking. And it just left such an indelible impression because of the music and the visuals and the story on so many people. And so you can imagine a lot of people was really, they really wanted to go into Olga's Cantina and sort of, see what it's about, soak into that atmosphere. A lot of really cool drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. So that's another sort of selling point of Olga's Cantina, is that it's the only place in Disneyland that sells alcohol outside of Club 33, which is very, very exclusive, obviously. California Adventure sells alcohol, throughout, but in Disneyland proper, the only place to serve alcohol is Galaxy's Edge, is Olga's Cantina. So aside from, again, the theming, there's that little fact that makes people interested. And just to make a long story short, it's been a fiasco for probably 4 solid months trying to get into Olga's Cantina. Like, the demand for that far outstripped what they were ready to, I think, to meet, what they were ready for, in essence. And they had to sort of deal with it on the fly about what they were going to do to control, the crowd and the demand. And eventually we entered into the reservation system, where you could reserve a place to go into the cantina about, I want to say 14, 16 days, I think about 2 weeks in advance. They changed these rules actually pretty quickly, so I don't know, and quite often, so I'm not sure what the newest version is. Is it a month now? I don't know, but I think last I checked, it was about 2 weeks ahead. You can put in reservations for a time to go to Olga's Cantina. And there are also slots reserved for same-day reservations, which begin and open at 7 a.m. And you go for a time slot. It has to be, every adult has to be put in by name, and you have to have a driver's license to get in. They don't want you selling these reservations. They don't want any of that. Children, of course, they don't monitor as closely, but for an adult, you have to have a driver's license, proof of identification to go in. And when you reserve it, it has to be reserved by name specifically. And those reservations often disappear within about, I would say, 15, 20 minutes sometimes. When it opens at 7 in the morning, for instance, it can disappear at 7:15, 7:10. That's how fast the same day reservations go. And I think reservations 15 to 16 days out are filled pretty rapidly. Now that being said, there are going to be bubbles where Disneyland is not as busy. There will be certain areas of time, especially in the evening time, in the very early morning, where the Cantina is walk-in available, or it's easier to reserve times for that. So in any case, that's the sort of the story behind Olga's Cantina and the demand to get in there. So in order for you to get one of these souvenir cups from the Cantina, obviously, you have to get in the Cantina. And this is very challenging because unlike other souvenirs, I just described to you why it's so difficult just to get into the bar, right? Just to get into the Cantina. And then once you get in, you have the opportunity to order some beverages. I got a menu here. This is one of the original menus. This is the actual menu, so not original, but it is original, but it's the actual menu that you get handed when you go up to the bar. And it's made of this really interesting paper. I mean, it feels very, very thick. I don't know exactly what this is made of, but it feels pretty cool. Like it's not cardboard, it's not paper, it's made of some thicker stuff. Because imagine, during the bar itself, when you're sloshing drinks and all that stuff, things get wet. This has to actually be somewhat sturdy. So here you go. On one side, you have concoctions with alcohol. There's some really, really cute names like, a Fuzzy Tauntaun or a Dagobah Slug Slinger, etc. So I'll show you some of that. You can see that the prices are not cheap. I mean, some of these alcoholic drinks, it's crazy. It's like $17, $16. So this thing, for instance, comes with a souvenir a mug, or whatever you want to call this thing, a souvenir glass or mug. So that's like $45. This is called the Yub Nub, which is Malibu pineapple rum, Sailor Jerry spiced rum, citrus juices, passion fruit, served in a souvenir Endor Mug. So that's one of the souvenirs. And then you have the beers on tap. And then you have the Rancor Beer Flight, which is this thing over here. And they give you all 4 of the beers here in a little container. They're all Rancor teeth, which is really, really cute, really cool. This is $85, if you can believe that, not including tax. And they raised it $10 actually. I think when they first released it, this was like $75. You also have a wine as well, and then a cider, which is, I don't think it's very alcoholic. Was only about 5%, so not too bad. So on one side of the menu, this is the alcoholic drinks. And then if we turn it the other side, this is the concoctions without alcohol. So unlike a real bar, you can take kids with it. There are families that are in there. And there's a lot of safe drinks for them as well. So here's some more cute names you can enjoy. Hyperdrive, Java Juice. This is called the Cliff Dweller, which is like a porg. It's this little thing right here. And again, that's like $35. It's served in a souvenir Porg Mug. I had this is really tasty. I really like this quite a bit actually. And unfortunately, if you enjoy the drink with these guys, I actually don't think that there is a opportunity to drink it without buying it. So indeed, I hope you really, really enjoy your citrus juices and your hibiscus, grenadine and ginger ale, because if you want to drink that, you have to spend $35 on a Porg mug to get that. And down here, essentially are the only non-beverage things on the menu. You have a cotton candy, Olga's Obsession. What is that? It's like lemonade, cotton candy flavor. I don't know. I think this is another drink. It sounds like another drink, right? If it's a lemonade. So I think the only thing that to eat is called the Batu Bits, which is basically just a crispy snack mix. So beware if you're going to the Cantina. There's no eating there. It's basically truly all like a real, basically like a bar. It's all drinks. Okay. So this is a really cool menu. I'm really happy to get this actually. I was surprised that they even handed this out. But anyways, here it is. I'm gonna put that aside. So let's start with these souvenir cups. Now, when I first got into Oga's Cantina, I was ready to, splurge and kind of invest the money on the Rancor's Beer Flight. But wouldn't you know it, it was sold out. In fact, this thing was sold out, I think within weeks of Galaxy's Edge opening during even the initial reservation period. So you would think there'd be people who'd be balking at these little tiny bits of beer for $75, but it went pretty quickly. And I wasn't super impressed with the other two mugs. But since I got into Oga's Cantina, it was so hard to get in, and I managed to finally get in. I figured, I might as well just celebrate, and I'll just go ahead and just get one of these, right? So I got the Porg because this is a non-alcoholic drink, and I don't drink alcohol. So I got the Porg Mug, and I was pleasantly surprised at what great quality this is. A lot of Disneyland, like special edition souvenir like type cups are just like cheap plastic. And they roll these things out on a pretty regular basis year after year after year. And there's a lot of people who collect them. And obviously, if you don't go to the parks or if you don't live near Disneyland, it's really hard to get these things. And I think they go for a pretty penny on eBay. But most of them, after a while, you just get inundated with them. They're basically cheap plastic trash, in my opinion. Don't kill me for saying that. Some of you guys who collect these, but I wasn't impressed by them. And so I was kind of expecting, the same thing, like a big cash grab, and when I got it, I was really, really impressed. For one thing, this thing is really heavy. It's not plastic. It's actually made out of ceramic. So this is like a legitimate ceramic, cup, ceramic mug. Here, I hope you can hear that. And when you take a look on the inside, it holds quite a bit of fluid. I used to drink, water out of this. So it's great quality, great weight to it. Really, really nice sort of, sculpting. It's really cute having the little Porg, kind of sculpted into the front of the glass. And again, it's usable. It's functional. When you're drinking it, you can wash it, for instance. I think this one you can actually, I think you can wash this in a dishwasher. Let's take a look. So it's the first edition Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. LFL, I think, is Lucasfilms. So if you are fortunate enough to get one of the first batches of these things, I think it shows first edition on the bottom here. It also shows it on the Rancor's Beer Flight, as well as the Endor Mug as well. So I don't want to break this. But again, this is sort of the cliff on the back, and then you have the Porg sort of sitting here. So, this, I was really happy with this, pleasantly surprised with the quality of this Porg mug, and I still use it, actually, to this day. It's really cute. And, maybe in the future, if I'm in the neighborhood and I want to drink, I would definitely think about getting this guy again, because he's really cool. I'm going to put him aside. So then the second time, I tried to go for it again, and then unfortunately, again, the Beer Flight was sold out. And that's one of the problems, right? It's like a lot of places in Disneyland, if you want something, you can just go in and check and say, hey, do you have this available? But for this situation, you have to get into Oga's Cantina first, and then you have to check. It's a little bothersome. So when I went in there this time, I went with my daughter, and at the time, I just wanted her to try a lot of the non-alcoholic beverages, just to get a feel for what it is. So there's a maximum of 2 drinks per person. So between her and me, we have 4 non-alcoholic drinks we could try. As you can see, you can count them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, we didn't want anything to do with the blue bantha because it was blue milk. And in an earlier video, I did talk about the fact that we were not fans of either the blue or the green milk. We felt like it tasted a little bit too much like, candle wax almost. So we weren't interested in a version of that, frozen or not. And I already had tried the Cliff Dweller. I didn't want to buy another Cliff Dweller, right? I didn't want to buy another Cliff Dweller. And so there was these 4. And unfortunately, the carbon freeze needs dry ice, and I think they were out on that day. So we could only order these 3. And that left 1 extra drink that I could order. I didn't want to order the Blue Bantha, and I didn't want to order another Cliff Dweller since I already owned one. So then, regrettably, I went over here. Now, look at this picture. this is not a very impressive picture of the Endor Souvenir mug, which you get with the Yub Nub. I mean, compared to, again, the Porg, this just seemed a lot less interesting. It just seemed like a simple mug, and I wasn't, again, too keen on getting it. But since, you know, I wanted to try a different drink, and we only have 3 non-alcoholic ones to get, I asked, by the way, if I could buy the Yub Nub, but except have the drink of the Cliff Dweller in it, and I was told, you know, that wasn't possible, unfortunately. So I decided, okay, you know, I'm gonna go get this one. I really wanted the Beer Flight, but I got this one, and then out it came. I drank it, which was a mistake. Maybe I'll tell that story at a later time, but I don't normally drink alcohol at all. And so I was maybe, let's just say, unprepared for the amount. But this is actually how tall the Endor Souvenir mug is. It's pretty big. I mean, if you look at my hand, and you know, if you can check out how deep it is deceptively deep. So it's not like a very large mug, but it is deep, and they fill it to the brim here. Okay, you're gonna get your money's worth in terms of the booze that you're buying, which I found out actually. So we'll skip that part of the story, but let's just say that in person, again, this is ceramic, so excellent quality, nothing cheap about it. I love the inside of it. You can definitely use it to drink water, whatnot. I believe it is also dishwasher safe. At the bottom, you can see first edition Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at LFL. And you get it in person, and when you compare it to the picture, it doesn't do it justice at all. So I think the conceit here is this is basically a mug carved by the Ewoks, and it's really cute. First of all, material is really good. It's really, really heavy, very nice weight to it, as you would expect from a ceramic mug. And if you look at the actual carvings, like in person, it's really clever. I mean, it looks like, you know, primitive Ewok versions of TIE fighters versus X-Wing fighters up in the air above Endor. You can see the forest of Endor right here. You actually see the war between the Ewoks and the Empire. This is from Return of the Jedi. You can see the Ewok here flying, dropping stones on the AT-ST walkers and the logs underneath. You can see the Ewoks raising their spears overhead. There's even a little stormtrooper. It's amazing. Look at all the stormtroopers here and here. And again, you know, it's carved into the wood. You know, the impression that they wanted to give you is that it's kind of carved in the wood, sort of like a pictorial history of that great struggle. So you can see the Ewok versions of the stormtroopers, and then more stormtroopers here. Here you see the Ewok taking over a speeder bike. And then there's the shield generator station. You can see an R2-D2 and a C-3PO, more Ewoks with axes and bows. You can see the one up here. I think he's one of the leaders, right? I forgot his name, but he's like one of the chiefs, again, on there. And then more Ewoks and celebrating everything. And of course, throughout the sky, you can see the battle in the space. You can see the Death Star from Return of the Jedi, the Star Destroyers, the cruisers that Admiral Akbar is on. I want to say this is the Millennium Falcon, I think. So again, this is like an amazing mug when you cycle back and just kind of appreciate, you know, everything on it. And at the bottom, you can see the hieroglyphics, the Ewok hieroglyphics and symbols all the way throughout. But just sort of slowly going through, you just really appreciate, you know, sort of the boss relief of all of these elements of Return of the Jedi on the Endor moon on this mug. I mean, this mug is really, really cool. And now that I actually was able to appreciate it, I mean, I actually like it a little bit better than, you know, the Porg Mug next to each other. I'll put them next to each other here, so you'll get an idea. So they're about the same height, you know. I think this is just a little bit taller, and I think this holds a little bit more because the Porg has little curves and stuff that makes it a little bit, I think, less on the inside. But in any case, these are the two souvenir mugs that I got. I was pleasantly surprised for both of them, okay? And I think, you know, I mean, I cannot in good conscience ever say that it's a good deal to spend $35 or $45 on just like seriously a drink and a ceramic mug. But like if you're Disney fans and if you're like, you know, Star Wars fans, then it is a pretty awesome, you know, souvenir to get. And again, if you're lucky enough to get to Oga's Cantina, I think that place, for a variety of reasons, is going to be super, super busy for a very, very long time. And so it is hard to get those reservations. So if you're there, I do encourage you to at least get one of these guys if they're available, because you know, in my opinion, you know, I don't think, you know, I think it's worth it. So let's put that aside for now. And then finally, the Rancor's Beer Flight souvenir board. So check this out, Rancor Beer Flight souvenir board with 4 teeth. The teeth are the samplers that they put the beer in, the Wampa AO and the Gold Squadron, the Gamorrean, and the Bad Motivator. So, you know, again, cute names. It's pretty funny. I think they tell you the alcohol content, see, for some of these, but then they don't tell you the alcohol content for these mixed drinks. I mean, I wonder why, but I think that the guys up here have a little bit more alcohol than the beers and like the hard cider. But in any case, this is like what it looks like on the menu, but when you see it in person, it's just so awesome. So I think this actually is resin, okay? Either resin or polystone, but the actual teeth here, this is actually ceramic. It's black on the inside, it tapers to a point. And it's, again, it's supposed to be obviously a Rancor's tooth. This is the same type of design that you put on the bottom of your Elemental Nature lightsabers if you make one of these at Savi's workshop. So if you buy these drinks, oh, by the way, if you buy any of these souvenirs, they bring it to you with the alcoholic drinks in them. You drink it, you give it back, and then they give you a brand new one, packaged in cardboard box and everything, okay? So I think that's pretty nice and classy. In a lot of places, it's like you drink from this and then they wash it out and they try to, you know, dry it and then they give it to you, which really sucks. So I think it's really nice that, again, they have their you know, in bar, you know, version of these where they can wash them and reuse them and sterilize them. And then they have brand new ones packed up for you. So I'm gonna move this here, slide it in. First of all, I think they did a fantastic job just sort of recreating the wood. You know, it really gives you a very nice illusion that this is wood. So you can actually grasp the handles here. This is how you transport the flight beers. And so really, really neat. They just lay it in front of you. Each one of these has a different beer and they can just sip from each and sample them. So it's really, really nice. And then of course, again, all 4 of these are ceramic and just beautifully done. You can see the texturing here. Each of them a large Rancor tooth. I mean, how cool is it to drink beer from a Rancor tooth? I can't hold my alcohol at all, and I don't drink at all. But you know, even I might make an exception just for that because that's pretty awesome. You know, and also each one of these is a very small cup, so it's not like a lot of beer. I think they fill it to the very tip, though, like the very brim of this. So if you drank all the beer from all 4 of these teeth, I think it does add up actually. So again, you know, can't speak for what they're going to do with that, but it might be better to just share with somebody, you know, if you can't hold your liquor like me, for instance. So anyways, this is where they put them in, and this thing is so popular. This was the first thing that sold out. It waited 4 months to finally get it. So here you can see they just lay right here. Just a really, really cool souvenir. I think, like, again, one of the coolest ones they have from all the Galaxy's Edge. And at the bottom of this, you'll see that's inscribed again, first edition Galaxy's Edge. So how I got this, you know, was just a great story. So I work with a lady, won't give her name, respect her, you know, privacy, but she's a nurse. She works in the same office as I do. And, you know, she's a pretty big Disney fan as well. So sometimes she occasionally gives me texts and pictures of, you know, what she's doing at the parks and stuff like that. So one evening, she texted me a picture of her at Galaxy's Edge, and I think I want to say that was her first time at Galaxy's Edge. Now she'd been blacked out for quite a while. Yeah, I think she had been blacked out because of her, you know, her annual pass level So she was blacked out. It was like her first time that she, managed to be able to go to Galaxy's Edge. So she was just sort of enjoying everything and kind of showing me the sights. And I texted her. I was like, "Oh, that's great! You're finally managed to get in there." And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. It's the first week of September, and I had been told by one of the cast members at Olga's Cantina that maybe in September they were going to get the Rancor Beer Flight back in stock. And so since she happened to just be there, I just said, almost half jokingly, "Hey, could you check to see if they got the Rancor Beer Flight back in stock?" And so she asked, and she was like, "Yeah, they have it." And at first she showed me like a photo of the menu, and I was like, "Well, okay, I know it's on the menu. I know they serve it, but do they actually have it?" And she said they did. Like, I got really excited, and she was like, "Oh, do you want me to just pick one up for you?" And I didn't want to put her in any trouble. I mean, she's there with her family to enjoy herself, but that's like a great opportunity. And this thing is so hard to get. I mean, we don't know how fast this sells out, right? And so I was like, "Oh, if you don't mind, maybe you could." And that was a really big deal because she didn't have any reservations to go in. And it wasn't too late. It was like 9 o'clock. But when she first tried to go in, the cast member was like, "Well, you don't have reservations, and we're not going to start walk-ins until like after 11:15 at night," which is less than an hour before the park closes, which is crazy. And obviously I did not want her to wait until 11 o'clock for me, that's ridiculous. But she kind of explained the situation, how she was trying to do it for a friend. And the cast member was just like so kind. And all the cast members at Disneyland have the ability to make some extra magic if they want to. And for whatever reason, she decided to go for it. The cast member was really, really kind. And she was like, "Okay, because it was just her, just the nurse, just my friend. She had to leave her sisters behind, unfortunately, because there's so many people. There's a big line." And so basically she was like, "If all you're going to do is just going to buy it, I'm going to let you in. Just go in and get it," because she doesn't drink. So she went in there. She didn't even drink any of the beer. And she got it for me. And I think that day was the first day they restocked. I think, that was yesterday. It was a Monday. So that was like literally, I think, the first day they got him in. And she got it for me, and then she handed it over today. And I just want, she'll know because she watches these videos. I just want to say again, just how much appreciation I feel for her. Again, doing it when she's supposed to be out there enjoying her family time, and to take the trouble to actually get me one of this for me and then lug it around for the rest of the night. I mean, it comes in a pretty long box. You can see how long this is, and to lug it around and then take it home with her. Went to a lot of trouble. So I really, really want to thank her again from the bottom of my heart for doing this for me, because I might try to go like this weekend or something, but by then it might be gone already. We really don't know again how many of them they get in. You can imagine this huge box. They don't get that many of them in. They had a lot more of these, and these guys lasted a long time, and I think they're always going to be there. But this is a whole different story, And so, again, you never know. So got it in hand. Really, really happy with it. I mean, these were going for double price, maybe triple price when it was first sold out for the first month or two after Galaxy's Edge opened in Disneyland. So here you go. Have it right now in hand, and so hopefully she can also see this and sort of enjoy some of the detailing, how cool it is. Again, you can just imagine taking this and just drinking it. This is not dishwasher safe. You have to just kind of rinse it out with water and then just wipe it, let it air dry. So again, not sure what I will use it for. I don't drink it all. Maybe I was joking, maybe I'll just get some different types of Martinellis, different Martinelli flavors, and then fill it with each Martinelli flavor. It'll be a Rancor Martinelli flight, I guess, I should say. So there you have it. One good thing, or one nice benefit for her, is that because she went in to buy it, they did let her in. So she did have the opportunity to walk around and record, and she got to enjoy, the inside of Olga's Cantina. For a lot of guests, they don't really want to go in there to necessarily drink, because the drinks are outrageously expensive. But they just want to kind of get the ambiance, get the feeling that they're in Mos Eisley Cantina, that Olga's Cantina provides that experience. And so I'm glad that she was actually able to go in there and take some pictures, take some video, and sort of look around, and enjoy that as well. So that was nice as far as that goes. So there you have it. And in addition to, I don't know whether it's because this is so expensive, but after getting it, the cast member actually also gifted her with a brand new menu, which is really nice. Of course, I've been there a couple times myself, so the menus that I've used are a lot grodier and older than this. So it's a nice souvenir to have the actual menu. And again, it's this nice paper, I don't even know what to call it, like this thick cardboard that's kind of resistant to like water to some extent. So she picked up one of these, and then also the cast member went in and gave her a couple of, free coasters as well. So I guess when you spend almost $100 on this souvenir, they're pretty generous with some of the other perks and stuff like that. Give you a little bit extra for what you're spending. But I don't know who that CM is, we never will. But to her and all other cast members like her who work at Disneyland, to kind of deliver the little extra bit of magic for so many people who maybe are not annual pass members or who are just going very infrequently, I give them a lot of props. I want to thank them for doing such a difficult job, most of the time so well, and with such class and warmth. So here you have it. Though these are all of the souvenir mugs or souvenir drinks that you can get at Olga's Cantina, from the Porg Mug to the Endor Mug to of course the Rancor's Beer Flight. And let me tell you, I really wanted this one, but getting the other two, they're all worth the money in my opinion. Of course, your mileage may vary, obviously, if you're not a Disney fan or a Star Wars fan. But for those of you who are out there, they're all made out of ceramic, really, really good material, really, really nicely themed. So these three are very, very good. If you can afford it, I think the Rancor Beer Flight is amazing. But these guys are certainly very good as well. And so I came in there thinking that this would be like my favorite because of the pork, but believe it or not, it's the Rancor followed by the Endor Mug because of all that beautiful detailing on the side, and then the Porg Mug last. And I'll just leave it with sort of all of this. But let me look at the picture and how bad it makes it look. Look at the picture here, and then again, look at what it looks like in person. I guess if you look really closely, you can get a hint of how cool it is. But again, the real thing blows it away. And the cantina is in the dark, and so it's harder to appreciate some of these details. So there you have it. This is the souvenir portion, at least, of Olga's Cantina. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that gives you just a little bit of information when you decide for yourself whether you want to invest in some of these cute little souvenirs. And until next time, do take care.